Yo, I like money and you probably do too. So this video, we're going to be talking about making money sports betting. So I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying it requires no time because it definitely does, but you can definitely make money sports betting, right? Sports betting is one of the rare forms of gambling, just like poker, where you can actually have a mathematical edge and win long term. So this video is titled Six Requirements if you want to make money sports betting. So the only six things are required. You don't need a ton of money to make money sports betting, but you need these six things. Let's get into it. So a lot of people, they think the first requirement is, you need to be rich. You need hundreds of thousands of dollars to make money sports betting. And that is just extremely false. And I'm going to prove it to you for two reasons. First of all, let's say you had $1 million to bet on sports. You have hundreds of thousands of dollars in each of your sportsbook accounts. There is no way you're going to be able to get that action down on a daily basis, right? You look at these sportsbooks, you look at FanDuel, they're not taking bets on most of these markets for $10,000, right? Most of these sportsbooks have betting limits. They limit the amount that you can bet. So even if you had hundreds of thousands of dollars, you're not going to be able to bet it every single day. Nowhere close to it. There are very few days nowadays that I'm even betting five figures. I'm rarely betting over $10,000. Now, the second reason is in sports betting, these returns are daily, right? So if you're earning a 3% edge, let's say you have a 3% edge, right? Edge just means profit margin on your bets. So you have a 3% advantage, a 3% edge, profit margin, ROI, whatever you want to call it. If you have a 3% edge and you're betting on, let's say, the NBA, there are NBA games every day, right? So 3% edge per day means a 90% ROI or edge or profit margin over the course of the month, assuming you're betting every day, right? So 3% a day, 90% a month. So if you're betting $1,000 a day with a 3% edge, you're looking at 3%, 90% a month, 90% on $1,000 bet per day is $900 profit. So if you're betting $1,000 a day, you're expecting to make $900 profit in a month with a 3% edge. So the first requirement is actually you can't be lazy, right? You have to be betting every single day. You have to constantly be looking for good bets. If you don't bet on weekends, then you're not making money on weekends. And weekends have college football, NFL, tons of college basketball, UFC. So if you're not betting on weekends, then, whatever excuse you have, regardless, it's not necessarily you're lazy, maybe you have other priorities, but you get the point is you have to put in the time. You can't be lazy. We're not talking about turning frickin' $1 into $1 million with some crazy parlay. That is not, what I talk about or promote ever. We're talking about getting a mathematical edge over the sports books and winning long term, making serious profits long term. This is not a get rich quick scheme. That's all BS. If you want the $1 to $1 million, go to 7-Eleven, play the scratch off lottery. Never bother me again. It's not the point of these videos. So first tip, can't be lazy. You got to be betting as much as you can every day. The more time you put in, right? Sportsbooks are always slipping up, giving away profitable bets, right? You have to put in the time to find them. If you're putting in 1 minute a day and expecting to make $50,000 a month, that's just outrageous, right? So you need to be realistic and put in the time, put in the work. You can't be lazy if you want to make money sports betting. And any sharp bettor knows that. Any day trader knows that. Any savvy investor knows that. You want to make money investing, trading, or betting on sports? Got to put in the work, got to put in the time. There's no such thing as a get rich quick scheme. So that's my first tip. That's the first requirement is if you just want to be lazy and expect millions of dollars to fall into your pocket, like everything else in the world, sports betting is not for you, right? It's not for you. So that's the first requirement. You got to be ready to put in the work. So the second requirement, if you want to make money sports betting, is you have to be fast, right? You are like a day trader. You're taking advantage of inefficiencies when sportsbooks are screwing up and getting down profitable bets. You can't take 20 minutes, right? Sometimes I'll give out bets on Prize Picks, and then 40 minutes later, someone will comment and be like, yo, that line moved down from 14.5 to 13.5 when you bet the under 14.5. And it's like, yeah, I had a really sharp bet under 14.5 points. I bet it. I gave it out. Tons of other sharp bettors bet it. Now it's at 13.5. Now the value went away. Prize Picks realized, or a sportsbook realized, wow, these guys are getting down a really sharp bet. We need to move our line down in line with the market. So you have to be fast, right? You're like a day trader. When I started out sports betting, I practiced navigating the sports books. I stay logged into my sportsbook accounts so I can get the best betting opportunities very quickly. Just like you're trying to get down great betting opportunities, these sports books are trying to, keep track of all their lines and make sure they're not giving out too much value. So if there's a really sharp bet, you should be moving quickly, right? Just like if there's a great investment, let's say there's some amazing investment, you shouldn't wait on it for a year. What if some other savvy investor, while you're waiting around being slow, takes advantage of that great investment or great trade as a day trader, right? Or someone comes along, they offer you a ton of money for your house, and you're like, oh, I'll sit on it. I'm not sure. I'm going to be a little slow. They may take their big check elsewhere and buy your neighbor's house, right? You got to be fast. This is not a game for the slow if you want to make money. Faster you are, the more you know how to navigate the sports books, more money you're going to make. So let's get into some examples, and then we'll go to my third tip, of course. So FanDuel isn't the only one who moves lines quickly, right? So here we can see a platform called Underdog Fantasy, and just a few minutes ago I locked in this play, and you can see one of my picks I thought was really good. I thought there was value on Jokic over 11.5 rebounds. So just a couple of minutes later, you head over, if you search for Jokic, what you're going to notice is, dang, his line is now 12, right? They bumped him up. This is called a bump in sports betting. They moved his line from 11.5 to 12, right? So they took away a lot of the value. I got over 11.5, so if Jokic has exactly 12 rebounds, I'm going to win. I have over 11.5. If you bet over 12 and Jokic has 12 rebounds, you tie, you push, right? So Underdog took away a lot of the value by bumping up the line from 11.5 to 12. Now, what you're going to notice is even interesting is for this next pick I have, Max Klesmit, under 12.5 PRAs. I thought there was a lot of value here. Underdog doesn't even know what to do, so they just removed the entire pick. They didn't even bump it, right? They just literally removed Max Klesmit points plus rebounds plus assists. So what I'm going to show you is really interesting and honestly a little shady on the part of Underdog Fantasy. But what we can do is if you go here, I ended up seeing a play I really like. So here you can see lines are kind of moving. But what this is called is the OddsJam screen is basically what it's called. And all it does is for, whatever market you want to look at, whatever sport you want to look at, it just pulls in odds from, the entire sports betting market. And what you're going to see here is Booker. His line is 30.5 on Underdog Fantasy. All of the sports books, Prize Picks, FanDuel, Bet365, all the other books have his line at 31.5. Underdog's too low, right? Their line's at 30.5. All the sports books are at 31.5. So Underdog is a point below the market, right? Underdog is screwing up. All these books want to set lines independently. That's why you can make money sports betting. And here, Underdog is too low. So we want to take the over. Right, so we found a sharp play on Devin Booker. So if I end up locking this in, so let's say I put $10 on it, $10 to win 60, and then I go, okay, and then I reload this so we can see if I ended up locking this in, and I'll show you how quickly things can move. So right here, I Booker over 30.5 points. If I type in Booker here, we'll see, but typically they end up locking a market sometimes very quickly if they think a sharp better got down action. So we'll see if they end up moving this line. It may take a couple seconds, but we can give it a couple seconds, right? And we can continue to talk about this. So long story short, again, this is called the OddsJam screen. And basically the way I use it is I scan the market for, big discrepancies. So here you can see Underdog 30.5, all the sports books at 31.5. Right? So Underdog is a clear pricing discrepancy. They're a point off from the rest of the market. So if I go back here, still nothing moving. So let me try refreshing it and let's see if they move anything on Booker. Here, it moved, right? You can see they completely removed Booker points, right? There is no Devin Booker points now. So literally, I bet it and the sportsbook moved the pick, right? They just completely removed the pick within a couple minutes, which is absolutely absurd if you think about it, but that's what they just did. It's honestly a little sketchy, but long story short, this just goes to show you when there's value in the market, such as Devin Booker over 30.5 points, this market is now locked. Things move quick. You gotta move quick. Number 3 is you gotta be able to deal with variance, right? If you're a savvy investor, if you're a day trader, you're not going to win every single day. You're not going to win every single bet. I have so many people right? So many people who follow me on Twitter or something like that, a couple bets lose and they get all discouraged. This is about having a long-term focus, right? You can't let your emotions get into it. I have losing days every week. I have losing weeks. I've had losing months. But I know long-term I have an ROI, a positive ROI over these sports books. I have an edge and I'm going to make money. So if you can't lose money in a day, right? If you're not prepared to lose money in a day or a week, you shouldn't be gambling in the first place. Go get a stable job. Go get a job, seriously, where you know your paycheck coming in. You should not be gambling if you can't take a day of losses. So that's my third tip, I guess. So variance can be brutal. Now, if you're playing parlays or you're playing on these high payout websites, right? Like, so here you can see Underdog Fantasy. You're staking, you're betting $1 to win 20. Right? So especially on these high payout websites, betting 1 to win 20, you'll notice that you're losing most of the time. And a lot of people, they can't deal with this. So you look on Underdog Fantasy where, as you can see right in this picture, I'm extremely profitable in terms of ROI. Just look at this. Loss, 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 losses, boom. But because the payouts are so big, right? So if we continue to go, here you can see a $10,000 payout. These 350 losses, right? They may eat at you, right? These 350 losses, but then boom, you get a $10,000 payout and you actually end up ahead in terms of ROI. So you can see here, like, you're losing most of the time when you're playing these high ticket, high payout items, but you're still able to have a positive ROI. Again, as you can see kind of in my profit and loss on Underdog. Tip number 4 is you need to have numerous sportsbook accounts. You don't just want to have one, right? If you just have FanDuel, sign up for DraftKings. If you just have Underdog, sign up for Prize Picks, right? You want to have as many sportsbook accounts as possible because as a sharp bettor, you never know which book is going to screw up or slip up on a given day. So I've used over 40 sportsbooks, DraftKings, FanDuel, BetMGM, Betfred, Underdog, Thrive Fantasy, all of these. Right? You never know which one is going to screw up on a given day because all these books set lines independently. So as a sharp bettor, having more books is, better. And we'll flip over to the EV page and I'll kind of show you some examples. You never know which book is going to have the best bets on a given day. Sometimes I have a lot more plays on Prize Picks. Some days it's a lot more on FanDuel. Some days more on Bovada, DraftKings, etc. So anyways, let's get into it. So again, as a sharp bettor, you never know which sportsbook is going to slip up and offer the most profitable betting opportunities on a given day, right? So this tool on OddsJam is called the Positive Expected Value tool, and you can see the most profitable bet is currently on DraftKings. So what this tool does is pretty simple, right? Sportsbooks are all setting lines independently. They want to be unique. They all try to set odds independently. So DraftKings, I mean, you can see just for frickin' NBA, how many different markets they offer, alternate spreads, alternate totals, player points, player rebounds, alternate rebounds. They have tens of thousands of odds per NBA game. Just for one NBA game, you can see once you combine kind of all the markets, there's 10,000 plus odds. So the EV tool reads in all the odds across the sports betting market for the sports books you use and points out value. Right? So you can see the most profitable play currently available is Devin Booker, over 2.5 threes, 7.34% profit margin. We're getting plus 175 odds on DraftKings. No other sportsbook is offering better than plus 144. Right? So essentially the concept of positive EV betting is find value. Right? You're like a savvy investor, a day trader. You're hunting through the market looking for value. So the EV tool is pointing out the biggest discrepancies. Right? And you can see the biggest one, the bet in bold and in green, is Booker over 2.5 threes. Plus 175 on DraftKings, no other book offering better than plus 144 seems pretty good, right? So the top play isn't always on DraftKings, but you can see if you keep going, the next most profitable play is on FanDuel. So if I don't have DraftKings, I miss this super profitable bet on Devin Booker, and my most profitable play is only a 2.08% profit margin. And if you keep going down, you'll see, hey, WinBet. Right? So more sports books, more profitable betting opportunities. If you only have FanDuel, there's no value on Booker over 2.5 threes. FanDuel's only offering plus 144 when if you had DraftKings, you could be getting plus 175. So as a sharp sports bettor, you need more sports books. More sports books, more profitable betting opportunities, more money in your pocket, right? It really is that simple. So my fifth tip is get educated, right? And what I mean by that is this is a frickin' war. It is you versus the sports books. You win or they win. They're trying to take money from you. You're trying to take money from them. So I get a lot of people who are like, oh, I love following DraftKings on Twitter. They're funny. Their content is designed to be dumb and keep sports bettors dumb. The sports books are the enemy. You should be studying, right, how you can beat them. You should be understanding, how are they trying to beat you? How is Prize Picks trying to beat you? How do they add in the VIG? What's the juice? How do sports books create prices? How do I beat sports books? What are different strategies to actually win mathematically and have a long-term advantage? Because all sports books will tell you is, hey, keep placing crazy parlays. Eventually that $10 will become $100,000, and it's absolute BS. If you want to beat the sports books, you need to educate yourself. You need to educate yourself on how they're trying to beat you, and you need to know how they work inside and out so you can beat them long term. So my sixth and final tip is you need to be disciplined. Right? You'll see a lot of people, they lose a few plays in a row, and then they start betting emotionally. They start betting with their gut. Oh, I just have this feeling about LeBron James for tonight. And that's absolute BS. You will never make money that way. 99.9% of sports bettors, they trust their gut, they trust their emotions, and that's why 99.9% of sports bettors lose money long term. You need to only follow sharp betting strategies and follow the data. Right? If a pick is not backed in data, it's not very clearly profitable and has an edge, you shouldn't be touching it with a 10-foot pole. If there's no profitable bets in a day, I won't have any bets, right? It's that simple. Sometimes people ask me, they'll be like, yo, man, give out a Prize Pick slip, give out a Prize Pick slip. If there's no profitable plays on Prize Picks, I'm not giving out a Prize Pick slip. I stay disciplined. I don't let my emotions get to it. I don't just bet because I want to bet. So tip number 6, follow the data only and stay disciplined, stay on track. You will make money long term doing that, right? You can't just go off the rails and start betting like a degenerate. So 6 tips, making money. Let's go.